Have you ever stopped to wonder why, in a world full of shifting alliances and political rivalries, some nations remain bound together no matter how the winds of global change blow? In international relations, loyalty is rare. Agreements are signed, treaties are made, but when the pressure rises, many partnerships crack. Yet, Singapore stands out as a country that has managed to hold on to something precious, a core group of steadfast allies who stand shoulder to shoulder with it through every challenge. The year 2025 is not an easy one for the global community. Economies are under strain from unpredictable market shocks. Regional disputes are testing even the closest of neighbors. Great powers are competing for influence in Asia, and smaller nations often find themselves caught in the crossfire. In such a climate, it would be easy for a country like Singapore, small in size but massive in strategic importance, to be isolated or pressured into choosing sides. And yet, the opposite has happened. Singapore's ability to maintain and even strengthen its network of dependable allies is nothing short of remarkable. It's not by chance. This resilience is built on decades of careful diplomacy, consistent reliability, and a clear commitment to fairness in global affairs. Singapore has earned the trust of nations through trade partnerships that deliver results, defense collaborations that ensure regional stability, and cultural exchanges that bring people closer together. The countries we'll explore today don't just claim friendship with Singapore in official speeches. They've proven it in action, by stepping up during crises, backing Singapore's positions in international forums, sharing military resources, and investing in projects that shape the future. Some of these nations are close neighbors in Southeast Asia, sharing not just trade but also history, culture, and security priorities. Others are distant but powerful allies whose economic and military influence strengthens Singapore's position on the world stage. This is not a story of dependency, but of mutual respect. Singapore doesn't just take support, it gives it back, often in ways that aren't visible to the average observer. These partnerships are built on balance, trust, and a shared understanding that in the uncertain world of global politics, a true friend is worth more than gold. In this video, we're going to dive deep into these enduring relationships, the ones that have weathered the tests of time, survived political shifts, and grown stronger with every passing year. We'll uncover why these countries value Singapore so highly, what they gain from the alliance, and how they prove their loyalty time and again. So, if you've ever wondered which nations truly have Singapore's back in 2025, you're about to find out. This is the story of trust, cooperation, and unshakable bonds in a world that's constantly changing. Number 10. South Korea. South Korea and Singapore have built a solid alliance based on technological innovation, cultural influence, and economic synergy. In 2025, South Korea remains a strong supporter of Singapore, particularly in the realms of trade, tech development, and creative industries. Economically, South Korea is a major supplier of electronics, automobiles, and advanced machinery to Singapore, while Singapore serves as a strategic base for Korean companies targeting Southeast Asia. This commercial cooperation is complemented by joint research initiatives in artificial intelligence, biotech, and renewable energy. Culturally, the Korean wave, from K-pop to drama, has a huge presence in Singapore, fostering mutual admiration. At the same time, Singaporean entrepreneurs, artists, and chefs are making a name for themselves in South Korea, creating a lively two-way exchange. In defense matters, the two nations collaborate on cybersecurity, maritime safety, and advanced military technology development. Their shared interest in peace and stability ensures that cooperation remains consistent, even in changing global conditions. Number 9. New Zealand. New Zealand's partnership with Singapore is defined by shared values of fairness, transparency, and sustainable growth. In 2025, New Zealand continues to back Singapore on international platforms, seeing it as a like-minded nation in both economic and security matters. Both countries are members of several trade agreements that promote open markets and ethical commerce. This shared economic philosophy means they often support each other's policies in global trade negotiations. Defense cooperation is also strong, particularly through the five-power defense arrangements. Regular joint training and military exchanges strengthen their readiness to address regional threats. Agricultural trade is a key pillar. New Zealand supplies high-quality food products to Singapore, while Singapore provides New Zealand with cutting-edge logistics and trade connectivity to Asia. Cultural ties are nurtured through tourism, student exchange programs, and sports events, ensuring that people-to-people bonds remain vibrant. Number 8. Indonesia. Indonesia and Singapore are next-door neighbors who know that cooperation is essential for mutual stability and growth. In 2025, Indonesia continues to be one of Singapore's most reliable supporters in ASEAN. Trade between the two is enormous, covering energy resources, food supplies, and manufacturing components. Singaporean investments in Indonesian infrastructure and tourism have helped boost Indonesia's economy, while Indonesia provides Singapore with essential natural resources and labor force contributions. On the diplomatic front, both nations have worked together on environmental issues such as combating haze pollution, promoting clean energy, and protecting marine biodiversity. These shared environmental commitments show a relationship that looks beyond just profits. Culturally, tourism between the two countries remains high, with Singaporeans frequently visiting Indonesian destinations like Bali and Bintan, while Indonesians enjoy Singapore's shopping and healthcare services. This constant movement of people keeps personal connections alive. Security cooperation is also a priority. Both nations coordinate closely on maritime patrols and anti-smuggling operations, recognizing the importance of keeping the shared waterways safe and efficient for global trade. Number 7. India. India and Singapore have a strategic partnership that goes beyond trade. It's built on shared visions for economic development, regional stability, and cultural exchange. In 2025, India remains a loyal supporter of Singapore, seeing it as a trusted friend in Southeast Asia. Economic cooperation is vibrant, with Indian businesses investing heavily in Singapore's tech, finance, and real estate sectors. Likewise, Singaporean companies operate in India's urban development, logistics, and renewable energy projects. This two-way flow of investment strengthens their interdependence. The Indian community in Singapore forms a bridge between the two nations. Cultural festivals, religious celebrations, and educational exchange programs help preserve and grow the bond. In fact, many high-level collaborations in arts, sports, and academia are led by members of the Indian diaspora in Singapore. Strategically, both nations cooperate closely in maritime security across the Indian Ocean and the Malacca Strait. They conduct joint naval exercises and share intelligence on counterterrorism and cyber defense, showing a shared commitment to regional peace. Number 6. China. Singapore's relationship with China is a careful balance of deep economic cooperation and pragmatic diplomacy, and in 2025, it remains one of Singapore's most important partnerships. Both countries share extensive trade links, with China being a massive market for Singaporean goods and services, and Singapore acting as a gateway for Chinese enterprises expanding into Southeast Asia. Cultural connections also play a big role. A significant portion of Singapore's population is of Chinese heritage, which makes cultural exchange, language familiarity, and traditional ties stronger. Festivals, arts collaborations, and tourism continue to create a natural bond between the two nations. Diplomatically, Singapore has often played the role of mediator between China and other nations, especially on sensitive issues in the South China Sea. While maintaining its neutrality, Singapore has earned China's trust by respecting its core interests and engaging in respectful dialogue rather than confrontation. Infrastructure collaboration is another cornerstone of their relationship. Mega projects such as the China-Singapore Chongqing Connectivity Initiative and cooperation in green energy technology show how both nations are working towards mutual growth. This relationship is not without challenges, but the mutual benefits are so great that both sides ensure it stays strong. Number 5. United Kingdom. Singapore's historic ties with the United Kingdom date back to the colonial era, but in 2025, their relationship is far from being merely historical. The UK continues to be a vocal supporter of Singapore, valuing its stability, open economy, and strategic location. Trade and investment flow strongly between the two nations, with British companies operating in Singapore's finance, education, and creative sectors. The UK also views Singapore as a reliable partner in promoting free trade and upholding international law. In defense matters, the UK maintains a presence in the region through the Five Power Defense Arrangements, FPDA, which includes Singapore. This long-standing agreement ensures joint exercises and mutual defense cooperation. Culturally, Singapore and the UK enjoy robust exchanges in the arts, media, and education. British cultural influence remains visible in Singapore's legal system, education curriculum, and even its governance approach. But it's now a two-way street, with Singaporean talent making waves in the UK as well. Number 4. Australia. Australia and Singapore enjoy one of the most comprehensive and dynamic partnerships in the Asia-Pacific. In 2025, Australia remains a reliable ally, committed to deepening ties in defense, education, and economic growth. The two countries share a defense treaty that includes joint military training exercises, access to training grounds, and coordinated strategies to address regional security threats. Australian military facilities welcome Singaporean forces for large-scale training, giving Singapore's defense forces valuable space and experience. Education is another pillar of their alliance. Thousands of Singaporean students study in Australia, and Australian universities collaborate closely with Singaporean institutions in research and innovation. This academic exchange strengthens long-term bonds between the countries. Economically, Australia supplies Singapore with essential agricultural products and natural resources, while Singapore serves as a gateway for Australian businesses seeking to expand into Asian markets. Both nations also share a common vision for renewable energy development, with joint investments in clean technology. Number 3. Japan. Japan and Singapore share a relationship rooted in mutual economic respect, technological cooperation, and cultural exchange. In 2025, Japan remains one of Singapore's staunchest supporters, viewing it as a fellow Asian nation that champions stability, innovation, and sustainable growth. Economically, Japan is a major investor in Singapore's infrastructure, renewable energy projects, and digital transformation initiatives. Japanese corporations bring advanced technology and expertise that enhance Singapore's competitiveness in global markets. In return, Singapore offers Japan a reliable platform for accessing Southeast Asia's fast-growing economies. Culturally, both nations share an appreciation for efficiency, discipline, and innovation. Regular cultural festivals, student exchanges, and tourism help strengthen people-to-people connections. Japanese influence in Singapore's architecture, design, and even culinary scene is unmistakable, adding a layer of familiarity and mutual admiration. On the security front, Japan and Singapore cooperate closely in maritime security and anti-piracy operations, particularly in the Malacca Strait, a critical waterway for both economies. Both nations also work together in disaster preparedness and humanitarian relief efforts, underscoring their commitment to regional peace and resilience. Number 2. United States. The United States has long been a vital partner for Singapore, and in 2025, that bond is stronger than ever. Washington views Singapore as a critical strategic partner in Southeast Asia, a stable hub for trade, finance, and security operations. For Singapore, the U.S. provides not just defense support, but also access to technology, innovation, and investment that fuels its growth. American companies maintain a strong presence in Singapore's business landscape, from tech giants to advanced manufacturing firms. This economic interdependence is reinforced by free trade agreements and cooperative research projects, particularly in areas like green technology, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence. In the realm of defense, Singapore allows the U.S. access to its ports and airbases for logistical support, especially for maintaining security in the Indo-Pacific region. This arrangement benefits both nations. The U.S. gains a strategic foothold in Asia, and Singapore enjoys the protection and deterrence that comes with American military presence. Diplomatically, the U.S. has often spoken in Singapore's favor on international platforms, advocating for freedom of navigation in the South China Sea and supporting Singapore's neutral stance in global disputes. This shared commitment to rule-based order cements their alliance further. Number 1. Malaysia. Despite historical tensions and occasional disputes, Malaysia remains one of Singapore's most consistent partners and supporters. Geographically intertwined and economically interdependent, both nations understand that their prosperity is closely linked. In 2025, Malaysia continues to cooperate with Singapore on key infrastructure projects, border security, and environmental sustainability efforts. Trade between the two nations flows seamlessly, with Malaysia being one of Singapore's largest suppliers of food, raw materials, and natural resources. This mutual economic reliance ensures that political differences are managed with care rather than confrontation. In recent years, both governments have prioritized diplomatic dialogues to resolve disputes quickly, avoiding unnecessary escalation. Culturally, the two countries share deep connections. Many families have members living on both sides of the border, and cross-border travel remains high for work, education, and tourism. This cultural familiarity fosters a sense of understanding that strengthens bilateral ties. Strategically, Malaysia supports Singapore's role in ASEAN, recognizing that a stable and prosperous Singapore benefits the entire Southeast Asian region. Whether in regional defense cooperation, joint naval exercises, or disaster relief missions, Malaysia and Singapore operate with a level of coordination that only comes from decades of close collaboration. As we reach the end of this journey through Singapore's most loyal allies, one thing becomes crystal clear: these relationships are not accidents of history, nor are they just the result of temporary convenience. They are the product of deliberate, long-term effort, mutual benefit, and a shared belief in cooperation over conflict. In a world where alliances can crumble overnight, Singapore has managed to cultivate something rare: genuine friendships between nations. These bonds are reinforced by consistent trade, defense partnerships, and cultural exchange. They've been tested by disagreements, global crises, and shifting political landscapes, yet they endure. Why? Because they are grounded in respect. Each country we've discussed sees Singapore not just as a wealthy city-state or a strategic port, but as a trusted partner. They understand that Singapore delivers on its commitments, honors its agreements, and approaches every international challenge with a balanced, rational mindset. This reliability makes Singapore a nation worth standing by, especially in turbulent times. From its close neighbors, Singapore gains regional solidarity, the assurance that in matters of security, trade, and environmental protection, it has partners nearby who share its priorities. From its more distant allies, it gains global reach, access to markets, advanced technology, and the diplomatic weight of larger nations. This blend of local and global support gives Singapore a unique advantage in navigating the complex realities of the 21st century. But let's not forget, these relationships are two-way streets. Singapore doesn't simply benefit from its allies, it contributes to their growth and security as well. It acts as a gateway to Southeast Asia for global powers, a reliable mediator in regional disputes, and a hub for innovation and finance that benefits everyone connected to it. As the challenges of 2025 continue to unfold, from economic instability to environmental crises, these alliances will be more important than ever. And for Singapore, knowing that it has the backing of such steadfast friends means it can face these challenges with confidence. The lesson here goes beyond geopolitics. It's a reminder that in any area of life, whether between nations, communities, or individuals, trust is built over time, respect must be mutual, and true loyalty can't be bought. Singapore's story proves that in a world where many are quick to change sides, those who stay with you through every trial are worth treasuring. So the next time you see Singapore making headlines for its diplomacy, economy, or security, remember the silent strength behind it, a circle of allies who will always stand by its side. In the unpredictable game of global politics, that kind of loyalty is the most valuable asset of all.